Is it an MMA movie? Is it a romantic film? Is it a nationalistic film? Like, I don't even know what it was by the end of it.
They bought the rights for this. If they try to remake it, who in Hindi cinema has that ability to be sort of a regular person but also very charming?
Yeah.
And I don't know who does.
There in the reviews, like any minute she'll just be like, Mahendra Bahubali. And you'll just be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is the wrong film, ma'am.
Hey everyone, this is The Late Take and I'm Anupama Chopra.
My name's Anmol Jamwal.
And Anmol and I are going to get into the releases, starting with a film that really broke my heart, Liger.
So it didn't break my heart, ma'am. I remember last week sitting with you over here and you were hopeful and I was like, my red flags are really like on high alert right now. So
that's because you know Puri Jagannath's filmography and I really don't. I haven't seen many of the films.
So post Temper, which was 2015, so you've seen Simba, right?
Yeah.
So it is considered to be his last big hit, which was celebrated all over. And since then, I've just seen from a tonality perspective, it's all over the place. And especially the regressive undertones are like very apparent in the screenplay. What blew my mind away with Liger was on how there was no form in the screenplay. And I almost felt as if they were, and I think a lot of reviewers have also pointed this out, that there are a lot of set pieces and there's no connection between them. And it's almost as if there's a new interesting idea and then they try to patch it together somehow or the other.
Yeah.
So for me, I felt like, okay, what am I getting in for? Is it an MMA movie? Is it a romantic film? Is it a nationalistic film? Like, I don't even know what it was by the end of it. Especially Mark Anderson coming out of nowhere was, okay, so are they just taking the mick out of our intelligence? Or where, and I would have been invested, ma'am, if it was ironic with its take.
No.
And imagine if that's how, five-head he is.
Right.
That he basically took everyone's mick right now and it's like, you just didn't get it. It's not the case though.
It's not the case. I'll tell you, I was hopeful because it feels like this is one of the first sort of genuine homegrown collaborations between industries. Right? Because so far it's Karan has presented this or, so-and-so in the South has presented X. But there hasn't been an actual sort of coming together of talent, of, people working together in a way where you are doing it from the script up. And I was just excited to see what they would create. And I think Vijay Deverakonda is a very charismatic actor. He's the only one who could perhaps get me to see past the kind of really fatal flaws in the logic of Arjun Reddy. And I was like, okay, they'll do. And to be fair, Anmol, the idea of a man who is very physically strong but has a speech impediment is very interesting. So I thought they'll do something with it, they'll go somewhere with it. And it was just bewildering.
By that time, I started to wonder why that character trait even exists.
Correct.
Because if you're looking at me connecting with the person because of that impediment, vulnerability, I was not emotionally connected to any of the characters. And even this attempt to create a mother-son bond and this lost wish with the father, I thought only existed when Ronit Roy had a few sequences. So I was like, okay, they can work on something in terms of the ideals of MMA and mixed martial arts. There's a movie called Never Back Down, which has like MMA training and everything. And the entire premise of that is don't fight outside because we have certain rules and regulations. Even that, the bare minimum with that would have been, I think, engaging if they just focused on the action sequences. But when I'm like, I don't want to I was skeptical about this because somehow the reviews have turned into roast sessions.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing redeeming because you're seeking for it.
Yeah.
But I think the Ananya track was so uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. And, I couldn't understand, Anmol, if as a film, because the film itself is treating her as a frivolous, silly person who wants to be a great star, who wants to be a social media influencer, who sort of gets up and says, "Where's my vodka?" or who's dancing with some barat somewhere. So, within the universe of the film, also she's not supposed to be taken seriously. But then suddenly you're supposed to emotionally invest so much in her that, oh, she sacrificed her love so that Liger could become the MMA champion. It just made no sense at any level. And then there's that line where she says, every ratio in my body is perfect. And
get a tape and measure it.
Yeah, get a tape and measure it. And I was like, no.
And he thinks that because her brother held his shirt,
Right.
that it's okay to do it to her.
To her, yeah.
And what blew my mind was, like, I'm talking about random set pieces, right?
Right.
So that group of women who beat him up.
Correct.
Okay?
Who were they?
Who are they? How are they involved with Mark Anderson and his tribe? What does Mark Anderson legally do? How did he transition from a sportsman to a don?
To a don, yeah.
But what was crazy to me was, and this is specifically how, I don't know, creators want to go further and further on their perception of, say, a female character through their movies, is the dialogues that Vijay has while he's getting beaten up. He's like, don't do this, shadi nahi hogi tumhari. And then he's like, did I impregnate you and abandon you? While he's getting beaten up, he's saying these things.
Yeah, to the warrior women.
There's no point to those dialogues except like probably a thought that the creator wants you to like, oh my God, oh yeah, he's got a point. That's a zinger.
Right.
Which have no context to the current circumstances.
Yeah. But Anmol, my view is, I always say that in a film like this, which is so sloppy, okay, and so lazy, I feel like even taking offense is
you said that
too much work.
Yeah.
मतलब मैं किस बात पे offense लूँ जब आपने कुछ किया ही नहीं
So
है,
ma'am, to that point, what I did empathize with a few of the comments that I read of people who are fans of Vijay and Telugu films.
Listen, he was working really hard even here.
I'm sure.
Look at that body, look at his work with the stammering, look at he gave it his full, I will do the masala hero thing.
But I think, what was uncomfortable for, say, an audience that was accustomed to his filmography was, he is known for the taxiwalas and the offshoot cinema in Telugu cinema, which is totally balls to the wall like commercial cinema.
Yeah.
And to see him then do the dance pieces, like I saw him in that Coca 2.0 and I was like, he's not comfortable doing that for sure. And then the music also is not integrated into the screen, it just randomly comes.
Correct. The end, when the Coca song, that's the song,
right?
Yeah. As the end credits roll. It was so funny because they actually just abandoned the MMA competition.
No,
that's MMA what I was just gone. It was Mark Anderson, Mike Tyson who decides who the winner is, and then Coca starts playing.
And they have the technology for a perfect live stream in Sandy Valley or wherever that was. What's crazy is, okay, I won't mention it, but Mike Tyson's been asked about Liger, and he has no idea. It's like, I shot a movie? What are you talking about? And he's been shown the poster, he's like, oh, this. I don't know what that is. Which is kind of crazy.
And imagine the amount of money they spent on him and on that sequence.
Oh God.
That really broke my heart. That the amount of hard work that at least a few of the people in there were doing, the amount of money that this film must have been. I mean, I read a budget of 125 crores.
And ma'am, you have stories like Sultan, Duggal.
That's right.
These kind of stories, mixed martial arts, wrestling.
Yeah.
And they've been emotionally impacted, resonated with so many.
Absolutely.
Doesn't even scratch the surface.
This was heartbreaking. I mean, not for you, but for me.
No, but I have to tell you, in this case, the concept of me trying to be like, there has to be something. There's a silver lining somewhere.
Correct.
And it's like, okay, if I take this movie as The Room, if you remember that Tommy Wiseau film. But if it's not intentionally done to be that way or be that stupid.
Yeah.
It reminded me of this movie called Legend Sarvana, which is
which was a recent release, yes, of course.
Which is this businessman who saved people from diabetes and everything.
Yeah. Which has also been made by a businessman who's launching himself.
Produced, directed, written, everything. But at least it was fun and ironic and
Yeah, I know.
This was just...
All right, so let's move on to better things. Delhi Crime Season 2. I have a real issue with time, so I never really get time to kind of get into series. But you saw it. Tell me what you thought.
So 5 episodes, ma'am. I becomes a little skeptical with great shows which become franchises just because they're popular. And I felt like Delhi Crime for me was one of the best series I've seen in India.
Absolutely.
And for me, it still has the legitimacy of how it portrays the problems with Delhi in terms of just the denotified tribes that exist over there, the labor class that there is, and how in such close proximity they live with one another, leading to several crimes. So they've gone with the Kacha Banyan gang storyline and how they fictionalized the same as the 90s and sort of presented it in the current landscape. I personally did not connect with it. I thought the performances were top notch.
Shefali
Shah is exceptional, and Rasika Duggal as well.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's lovely.
But somehow there's a lot of dialogue in English this time, almost an overbearing amount, which made me a little uncomfortable, making me think, did the Emmy nomination lead to them catering to an international audience this time? Because she's talking to her subordinates who talk to each other in Hindi constantly.
But she's talking in English.
She's talking in English as if it will resonate better with them, which totally caught me off guard.
Right.
So personally, I think it pales in comparison to season 1 and what it did. It still holds its ground. It's more of a crime thriller rather than a crime drama. So in this case, it presents the villain. It showcases them to be a little demonic. So it's filmy in that case. It tries to do a social commentary in the first 3 episodes and then just shifts gears to do a whodunit kind of situation.
Right. So tonally, it's a bit...
it's a bit off, and I feel like it's entertaining, but it wasn't as engaging to me. And I just constantly started reminiscing about how amazing season 1 was.
Season 1 was incredible.
Yeah.
It gave me nightmares, but it was incredible.
It was. Yeah.
Well, there's also a film that didn't release last week, but earlier, Thiruchitrambalam, which both of us loved. I have to tell you that I went with Pratyush, who's also an FC critic, packed hall, Anmol, just families, such a sense of movie going how it used to be. And like women dressed up, because it's the Sunday outing, and such a lovely movie. It was just such a lovely film.
I absolutely loved it.
Me too.
Absolutely loved it. And I thought Nitya Menon was...
Oh, she's wonderful.
She was a dream.
Yeah,
she was so good. And I was thinking, so a lot of the Tamil film fans were recommending it, saying that, Nitya Menon and Dhanush are amazing.
Yeah.
But I connected the most with the 3 generational men, the grandfather, father and son.
Yeah.
That dynamic itself and how they fleshed it out was so beautifully done.
It's very well written.
Very well written.
And, just so well acted. And this is the thing, Anmol, I was trying to think, like, if they bought the rights for this, if they try to remake it, who in Hindi cinema has that ability to be sort of a regular person but also very charming?
Yeah.
And I don't know who does, because they're all stars. They're all stars.
I could envision probably a Vicky doing it well.
Maybe, yes. Vicky would.
Yeah.
Vicky would probably be the right guy.
You brought it up really well, ma'am, in your review on how beautifully those scenes are staged.
Yeah.
The sequences with the 3 of them. And I had an exceptional time also. And I feel like the music was also so good.
Music was lovely. And the comedy.
Comedy, yes.
It was so well written. And just the irreverence and the rudeness with which the men talk to each other, but underneath all that there is great love. I thought it was just lovely, and hats off to the writer and the director. Really, job well done.
Yes, 100%. And it also makes me have faith in the fact that romance and feel-good cinema is not going anywhere.
Correct.
If it's well made, people will come to theatres.
People will come. It was a big hit.
Yeah.
Which is so great. So let's take some comments now. We've got Pokhraj Roy, and this is on Liger for me. Pan-India may have elements, but the consistent element is weakly written female characters. Totally agree, Pokhraj. Also, when will we tone down the misogyny regarding female social media influencers? I'm not sure. It is a big one. And forget misogyny about social media influencers. It's misogyny at large. It's just misogyny. Women are so silly. They're written as such frivolous, vapid characters. It's just like, and the thing is, what would it take to make her have more depth?
Yeah.
She could still be that same woman. She could still be a social media influencer, but thoda sa to like एक dimension to de do.
But she's a bloody star. Okay, the second comment is by Mohana Mukherjee. We have moved on from using male actors to shame and objectify women to using female actors to do the same with the aajkal ki ladki wears short clothes and is a devil. And female friends advising her that men only notice women from bottom to top, thus cementing the male gaze. Good grief. Misogyny से internalize misogyny का amazing transition.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we've with great length spoken about these problematic tropes.
My heart also went out to Ramya Krishnan. She's such a lovely, regal, imposing, charismatic actor.
And has had such a long career.
Such a long career. And she has such presence. Like, you don't even need her to do a lot. Like, with one look, she can... And here she is just screaming. Just bulging her eyes out. I mean, I was just like, why?
I had said in the reviews, like, any minute she'll just be like, Mahendra Bahubali. And you'll just be like, whoa. This is the wrong film, ma'am. No, it was too much and too intense.
And also for Ronit, who I think has just become this poor man who's just enabling heroes from the side, and he's also such a good actor.
Yeah, I liked him in Shamshera also.
Yeah. He's just standing at the sidelines trying to prop up these heroes, trying to help as best as he can. Oof. And what really killed me was suddenly they put him in that meeting and this patriotic kind of India ladega, jab Liger ladega. I was like, where did this come from?
Approve ho gaya, sir. Chalo. And you're like, what? And the best, Ramya also has Jaya Bachchan skills. When, in MMA, even from a basic logic standpoint, ma'am, when somebody gets knocked down in MMA and they fall, it's a knockdown.
Right.
So it's over.
Correct.
But then she shouts from India, what? And then he wakes up, slow motion.
Transcontinental shout. God. Better than Jaya Bachchan.
Could do. The soundtrack would have worked. It's a Dharma property. They should have used it. Anyway.
Okay, Rohan Kumar says, these movies are to Anupama how Shoaib Akhtar was to Sachin Tendulkar. Helps bring out their best form ever.
No. I saw a lot of comments. It's like, this is the Anupama we love, but we hate to do that.
I know, genuinely, guys, it's not joyous. I go in, again, I'm saying we go in wanting to love these movies. Yeah. And when I say it's heartbreaking, I mean it. I take bad films very personally because my whole life is about the movies. So when it's bad, I'm like, ab main kya karu? What, genuinely. Like it, because your whole life is so much, and especially my life has always been, Anmol, for 25 years about Hindi cinema. Mm-hmm. So if Hindi cinema is so bad, then what does it mean about me?
And it's going through a...
It's a complete crisis,
yeah.
Absolute crisis. And then I'm like, oh my God, like I'm going to get old like this.
No.
And I've already gotten old like this.
No, it'll get better.
It will. We have faith. And Brahmāstra is coming. And
I have my fingers crossed, ma'am.
Me too.
We say multiple times, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
But it is a tough task with just the expansion of the universe that they're doing.
It is.
I just hope that, it works out, the elements work together because they're going for a trilogy and that's in itself such a daunting task.
Yeah.
So I hope it does work.
Tell me, and this is something I was thinking about, that is the fact that some of the audience is exposed to so much cinematic sort of superhero-ness. Mm-hmm. Do you think that kind of makes us jaded in some way? Or if the story is gripping enough, like Krish. I mean, we did have a very successful homegrown hero in Krish. Minal Murli was fantastic. So I'm like...
I think they're not jaded at all, ma'am. Yeah. If done well, everybody will tune in for it.
Yeah.
But if done exceptionally bad, or if it just doesn't turn out to be, that epic spectacle that people were looking for, it will be criticized
extra
tenfold.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of thing that happens.
Yeah. But I always still putting it out there, great admiration for Ayan and the team.
Yeah, man.
For just powering through and staying the distance,
100%.
Amazing.
The fact that it's like a labor of love for
It
10
is.
years. It truly
It
is that.
You know.
And I hope it does turn out to be whatever.
To be
it
great.
is. And I have to say that, the music, everything is a discussion online,
Right.
which is probably a good sign that people
Sure.
are interested in
They're
watching
interested.
the movie.
No, they're very
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
I hope it opens big. I hope it soars, and I hope Bollywood gets its groove back.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
No pressure, Brahmāstra.